Hello everybody, it's Ashwin Rao. Today's video features an up-and-coming maker that uses heritage styles and updates them for the 21st century using the Spade Sole as the anchor design by which to do so. Welcome to Ace of Spade Shoes. This particular model is the Route 66 Oxford. Let's take you through the details of this shoe and then talk a little bit about the history of Ace of Spade shoes and how these styles harken back to heritage American footwear. So this particular model is an Oxford, but not your traditional cap toe Oxford. First off, you see that the cap toe has this slight scalloped edge as it approaches the welt here, which makes it a little bit more unique. You see the extensive broguing on the front of the shoe. And then we look at the facing here, and you see that there's a very aggressive facing, reminiscent of the styles out of Antonio Macariello and Paolo Scafora's. The Hastatus model is one that recalls this particular style of facing. But to make it even more impressive and more dramatic, you see contrast stitching on the upper, as well as this piping that's made out of almost a mustard color. So all of these elements come together to make a very aggressively styled shoe on an already aggressive color choice and spade sole. One piece of leather that makes the heel counter, collar, and the facing. Very cool. Ace of Spades is the creation of Anders Sundstom, a Swedish footwear and menswear enthusiast who saw an opportunity to bring back heritage styles to the 21st century using the anchor of the spade sole as a way to do so. You can see that the spade sole here has this shape, this kind of rounded toe box, but with a rapid drop off here, this spade-shaped edge as we get to the waist of the shoe is the characteristic feature of the spade sole. Spade soles were very popular in American heritage footwear in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, but fell out of favor for more conservative style choices. But in today's work and shoe wear environment, there's an opportunity to explore more aggressive styles, and Anders saw that and decided to develop this market. So born was Ace of Spades shoes. This is a hand-welted, hand-lasted, and hand-stitched shoe. Ace of Spades also offers Blake stitching for a lower price point, so if you want to explore this style and do so without hitting the wallet too hard, consider the Blake stitch options that are available through Ace of Spades. You can see this double row of hand-stitched welting done along the edge here. And you can see that it's done with quite a bit of precision, but it's not perfect. For example, right here, there's a slight error. You can see that some of the stitches, while with a high stitch density, are laid down slightly irregularly along the fudging. What I was impressed with was the stitch density and the detailing on the facing and the contrast stitching on the upper. You can see how that contrast stitching really kind of highlights some of the design elements, including the scalloping, the collar of the shoe, the broguing that you can see along the top edge, as well as along the heel block here, as well as the heel counter. You can also see a very nicely done broguing pattern, both on the heel block edge, within the heel block, as well as along the collar here. So while this is a very aggressively done shoe, it is styled accordingly and consistently across its shoe style. Other features to highlight are this dramatically pitched heel, a squared off waist here, so there's really no beveling here, and again, a fairly flat, non-fiddleback, non-beveled waist. And the only feature on the waist that's notable is this somewhat narrower profile, as well as the Ace of Spade branding here. Well, not all is perfect, and as for any fledgling or new brand, there's going to be a few growing pains to work through. One of the things that I noticed was that there's some issues with the lasting process. If you look over here, you're going to see some ridges along the bottom side of the leather as it affixes to the heel. There's some errors right here, here. You can see some of these ridges there, and that is an error of lasting that could definitely be improved upon, and for the price point I think is worth factoring in. Now, I've spoken to Anders about that, and he is very responsive to that and will be working on that. While trying to be a blind stitch waist, if you look closely, you're going to see some of that stitching that isn't hidden, partly because it's contrasting, but you can tell that that's not perfectly done there. All in all, that might be just a stylistic choice, but it's something else that I noticed. Prior to wrapping up this video, I wanted to showcase the shoes together, and here give you a perspective of both shoes paired up one next to each other. This is a beautiful pair of shoes, my friends. If you're willing, to me, the Route 66 was an extreme version of what Ace of Spades offers, with its contrast stitching, spade sole, double row, welt design, the scallop toe cap, the aggressive facing with the Hasteda style, more angular facing style, the broguing that's going through the heel block, the collar, the facing, as well as the toe box, the spade sole, obviously, the pitched heel, the offset heel. All of these details come together very organically to make a very lovely, aggressively styled shoe. For those of you who have an affinity for more aggressive styles, Ace of Spades is one to consider. For those of you who have an appreciation for vintage heritage wear that comes from a heritage in the 1920s, 30s, and 40s, consider Ace of Spade. They will do you well. Buying Ace of Spades is supporting another footwear enthusiast in Anders and a small team of craftsmen in China, so the money is going to a good place, not a large company without our face, and somebody who's truly passionate about classic menswear and exploring styles. Ace of Spades, my friends. Have a good one. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Give them a try. Tell them I sent you. And I hope you're having a good day. Have a good one. Bye.